Hi there. Well, we've been thinking about love in conflict this week and the power of love and how God uses conflict in our lives to produce these godly qualities within us. Just as the different colours can be very contrasting. And just as we don't want to just wipe them all away or you end up with just a muddied picture, what God does is He allows these conflicts in our lives, and He remembers each one of the conflicts, and He remembers all of the qualities which He has brought out of us because of those conflicts, and He holds those qualities and those conflicts in high esteem, just as Paul did at the end of his life when he talked about the sufferings which he had gone through, and how he saw them as being precious, like the marks in Jesus' body were precious to him. One of the best parts about doing any piece of art, of course, is when you come to the end and you then have a frame to put round what you've done. It's always a very satisfying moment. You kind of kid on that it's maybe going to hang in one of the big galleries. Who knows? This is a piece of modern art, of course, which has been done here. So maybe it would go in the Musée d'Orsay museum in France and Paris, which is an amazing place where you see Monet and Renoir and all of these kind of French impressionists and such like. But probably it might just end up on our fridge. Here in the home, that's where most of the artwork goes. Just like in the old days when you were a child, do you remember you used to do paintings or drawings or whatever at home or at school, and you would bring them home and your mum would put them up onto the fridge. So here's our frame here. So on we go with our frame. That's not bad. I'm quite pleased with that. I like the contrast. I like the conflict within this painting. And it will be reminding me of these thoughts that we've been having as we've been painting together. In the Bible, I just love God's words to Satan. When he's talking to Satan, did you know that God talks to Satan? And he talks to him about Job, and he said, I wonder if you've considered my servant Job. There's a man who loves me, who serves me. And you can detect a bit of pride in God's voice, can't you? It's almost like a father saying, this is my son, I'm proud of him. In the same way God, Father, spoke about Jesus at his baptism. This is my son, in whom I'm well pleased. God looked at Job, and he saw that Job's life had not been easy to that point, I'm sure. And he knew that greater conflict was going to come, some horrendous conflict. But he loved him. And he held him up almost like a kind of trophy of grace. And at the end of Job's life, towards the end of the book of Job, God says that, look at my servant, look at what he's been through. And he blessed Job. In a sense, he kind of put a frame around Job's life and said, this is my servant. This is what he has gone through and he will go through. But I love him. And all of this conflict and all of this hardship has brought out these godly qualities. Job never cursed God. Even through all his darkness, even through the dark colours of his existence. He never cursed God. He still held on to his faith in God. And when we one day get to heaven and stand before him as a trophy of his grace, with all the conflict that is in our lives that we have gone through, I hope we will be able to stand there and look him in the eye and hear him say, well done, good and faithful servant. You're my son, you're my daughter, in whom I'm well pleased. And he puts a frame round our lives, and he hangs us up in his wall, and he says, you're going to be with me forever. God bless you. Look forward to speaking to you again next week, when we'll be thinking about love in endurance. And keep doing your art.